Hey there. Are you running Facebook ads without a clear creative testing strategy in 2025? If so, you are more than likely setting fire to your marketing budgets. In this video, I'm going to cover the exact creative testing strategy we use in our agency so that you can go from guessing about ad performance to delivering real results, real insights, and real growth for your business. My name's Andy, and I've helped over 150 e-commerce brands to scale their revenue using paid advertising. And one of the key strategies that we implement for every single one of them to get results like this is a clear approach to creative testing. Let's get into it. So to kick off, the first thing that we need to understand is, why are we actually creative testing on Meta? Why are we giving the platform this budget? And the answer is really, really clear. When you set up your campaigns in Meta, those campaigns work best when they're stable, when they're optimized, and when they're generating 50 conversions a week. And generally this will go into an evergreen campaign structure or a BAU campaign structure. And what we want to do is we want to prevent our campaigns from being disrupted every time we launch new creative. It's going to disrupt the algorithm, it's going to take spend away from your top performing assets, and it's also going to impact your revenue. So what we love to do in our agency is have a dedicated campaign focused on creative testing. We utilize ad set budget optimization for those campaigns, and every time we're running a new test, we try to limit it to one variable. So we're changing the hook, we're changing the messaging, the video style, the framework, but within that we change one variable at a time, and we assign the budget on an ad set level. What this is going to give us is a very clear framework in terms of how we test. It allows us to also reference our testing process because everything is labeled at an ad set level, and it provides us with the insights into how creatives performed, and it's something that we can go back and look at and review within our testing matrix. So the framework that we use within this ad set budget is very focused on testing to broad audiences, and sometimes we may adjust our age ranges or our genders depending on the specifics of the brand, but this will always be consistent. And what we're really looking to establish is, can this creative that I'm testing drive conversions to a prospecting customer or at the very top of my funnel? With retargeting ads, when we're producing new retargeting ads, we don't often creatively test them. The benefit of doing so usually doesn't outweigh the performance benefit, rather than just implementing them straight into a campaign. So we're very focused on open targeting, focusing on our geographies, and then instead of looking at who we're targeting, we're very, very focused on who we don't want to target with our creative tests. And this is anybody who's had an interaction with our brand previously. So if you've been to our website, we'll exclude you. If you've purchased from our brand, we'll exclude you. If you've engaged with our ads before, we don't want you in our creative testing framework. The same applies for Instagram followers and engagers. We try to make our creative testing audience as cold as possible so that the insights we gain are as valuable as possible. And once we've set up that audience with the right exclusions, the big question that I'm always asked about is, how much budget do I need to allocate to a creative test? And within our framework, we love to ask for around 5 to 7 times CPA per ad in order to judge the performance. Now, I know you're probably doing the math there and thinking, wow, that's a lot of money. Within your ad account, the budget you assign to testing should be around 15 to 25% of your monthly budget. If you're producing content regularly, you want to have that budget available for testing. But Meta as a platform does something absolutely incredible for you when you're creative testing. Within an ad set, if there is a piece of creative that it doesn't think will generate the performance goal that you have set, usually purchases, it just won't give it the budget. And the same, it will prioritize the budget to the ads that it thinks will drive the best performance. And this can be incredible for you because it means that you don't need to spend 5 to 7 times CPA on every single asset. When you upload them, there'll be some that just don't get spend, and you don't need to worry about them. If the ad doesn't get spend in your creative testing ad set, I can guarantee you, if you were to put that into your scaling campaign with your best assets, the ones that have driven your revenue for months or for weeks, the ones that have the best click-through rates, the best hold rates, the best thumb stop rates, it's not going to get any spend. So just forget about it. Do not force spend through those ads by turning everything off. You're wasting your budget. Simply turn it off, move on to your next creative test. And once you've started to spend through these ads in your creative testing campaign, the big question that you'll want to know is, how do I know if an ad is a winner or a loser? Super quick, before I jump into that, if you've made it this far in the video and you've found the advice useful so far, I would love it if you could drop me a like or a subscribe. It keeps me motivated, it keeps me producing videos, and it lets me know that you like what I'm doing. Let's get back into it. So how do we know if a creative is working? Now, typically you'll always have key metrics that you're looking at. If you're a lower AOV brand and you have quite a low CPA, generally looking at CPA or ROAS is going to give you a really good indicator. So has the ad generated purchases? Has it generated volume of purchases? Are those purchases at a CPA that I can afford, that I like? If so, great, end the test, move them into your scaling campaign or into your BAU campaign. But sometimes with products with higher lifetime value or higher average order value, you have much longer consideration journeys. So that instead of focusing on one key metric, what we like to do within our agency is use a concept called decision trees. And we'll start at the very top up here, where we're looking for the absolute dream scenario. So we're selling a bed for £1,000, and if we can create an ad that drives a bed sale for £1,000 in our creative testing, absolutely incredible. We like that. We want to put enough spend behind it to see if it's repeated. If it is, great, we'll stop the test, we'll put it in our main campaign, and we'll scale that to the moon. However, that doesn't always happen. So that what we then have to do with our decision tree is say, no, it didn't generate a purchase, but we also didn't really expect it to generate a purchase. And we'll come down a layer. And that might be, has it driven any checkouts? Has it driven any add to carts? Is the percentage of visitors to the site and content views that then go on to potentially add to cart, is that quite high? Because that's an intent signal that we're moving people through our funnel or through our user journey. And that could also be a grounds to scale a piece of creative. But we also need to keep working beyond those e-commerce metrics and start to think about the purpose of an ad. Sometimes when we're creative testing, we're not just creative testing these direct response bottom of funnel ads. We might also have pieces of creative like Reels or UGC that serve a purpose of capturing initial attention and building awareness of our product or of our brand. And these have very different metrics. It's quite unlikely that if you run a social first reel, top of funnel, very focused on telling your brand story on a high AOV product, that it's going to drive an immediate conversion. So then you need to start to look at some of the more engagement and brand building metrics. So 3-second view rate, thumb stop rate, hold rate. So are we hooking people in? Are we then holding them through the video? Do we have enough elasticity of attention within that video that they'll be able to remember our brand? What is the click-through rate following this view? Are we able to get this video, distribute it on Reels, and actually take people from Reels to our website, which is quite a significant action, because most people that are viewing Reels are not looking to go shopping. They're looking to mindlessly scroll for the next piece of content to make them laugh, cry, feel some form of emotion. So that if we're able to break that habit and drive them to our site, this could also be a winning piece of creative. Now, there's so many metrics and so many thoughts to consider in this process. What we like to do is we like to really map it out. So from the very top, we start to work down and we create yes, no scenarios, if scenarios. And what this will allow us to do is actually determine the use case for the creative and whether it should go into our main campaigns. And as much as marketers love to talk about being very scientific, very data-driven is a buzzword that people use, there's also a real case for using your gut. If you've been working in this industry for long enough and you have a good feeling about a piece of creative and it shows some signs within a creative test, but maybe not as good as some of your best performers, sometimes it's okay just to take it, put it into your main campaign, monitor it, and then kill it from that campaign. Because There is some intuition with an ad account, and that is a big role of humans. So once we've finished this decision-making process, and we've decided whether a test passes or fails, the next thing that we want to do, and this is often something that a lot of marketers miss out, is recording that test within a testing matrix. So what we want to do for every single test we run, we want to log our results when the test is concluded. We want to provide a suggestion based on why we think that the creative that was a winner worked, and also creatives that didn't work, why they didn't work. And your creative strategists will absolutely love you for doing this, would be if you work together with them on creatives that have failed and look at ways that you can improve that creative. If you struggled with your thumb stop rate, maybe you need to rework the hook. If you struggled with the hold in the video but you had a great hook, maybe you can use that information for the creation of another ad in the future. Log these in a Google Sheet, make it available with your creative strategist. We love to use a tool called Motion to log our creative tests. And what we do is we create a board for every single creative test that we run. We provide a link to that test within our testing matrix so that our team can always go back, they can get the summary of the test, they can get an overview of the results, they can see the creative that was run, it's very interactive, they can dig into those metrics and they can improve the performance for future creative. If you miss this step out, you're missing a vital part of the wheel in terms of how you put together the hypothesis for your next lot of testing. Now that you know the exact framework to test your creative on Facebook ads in 2025, what you need to scale to the next level is a clear strategy in terms of producing creative that wins, how to then use that in your campaigns, how to structure your campaigns for success, and how to drive revenue for your brand. And if you're interested in getting this, please click the link down below to book a call in with our team, and we'll be happy to walk you through. And if you're not quite ready for that, don't worry. Check out this video up here on how you can use AI within your content creation process to become more efficient, to become faster at generating content. We'll see you in the next one.